Good afternoon, traders. It looks like this CPI report, investors are loving it. We didn't even test down really below the 417 for maybe a split hair of a second. Looks like we're hanging out here in the 419 for, it looks like, the last 2 to 3 hours. So let's see if we can close back up towards that 420 on the SPY. Let's see what Joel sees on out there. It definitely looks like the bulls have control right now. I think all of us are open. Is the FOMO starting to drive? We'll see what happens here. Let's take a look at the close.
All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
Three consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
All right, let's bring on Joel. How we doing out there? This market is trying to hold up there. Got to 420 for a split second. For a hair, can we get back up to that level? That's the level that I'm watching. And would you think that we would be talking about 420 back when we were all the way down towards 360s? I mean, we were in the 362 there in just June, in 2 months, less than 2 months. We're back to 420 almost. What do you think about that?
One person I know in the morning show has been bullish throughout the rally. And it's not Dennis. Dennis made the good turn. He wavered a little bit last week. I don't know. I mean,
lights out over here for me.
There's always reactions, right? And counter reactions. So I still don't think you're out of the woods. I still don't think that the 8.5 number is that great of a number. I think we're just getting back to 50% retracement of the move. So I'm happy it's a good move. But man, oh man, 8.5%. That still seems like a really steep number to me. But just a couple things I wanted to point out. This was.
Can you share the charts, Joel, right quick?
I thought I hit share. I didn't hit share.
No, at least not the ones that I can see.
You can't see them. You don't want to see ugly.
You're sharing with someone else, though. You're not sharing with us, Joel.
60 handle move. Okay, this is a 1 minute bar. 1 minute,
Ooh.
2 minute, 3 minute, 4 in 5 minutes. Okay, you had the bulk of the move today. We got up to 99 on that print. We went from 36 and a quarter to 99, and yeah, we sold off the open. We had a little pop to 42.12, but the bulk of the move made in that 6 minute period, trying to get that close over 4,200. We've traded over 4,200 back on May 31st, but we have not closed over 4,200 going back to May 4th. And I don't know if that was like we had the big update because of the Fed speak, and then we gave it all back the next day. So good day. You know, your retracements work, whether they're the spiders or the spoos or whatever you're trading. It's always it's a good number to see the counter number. So, you know, the counter reaction, and proves if it's a new trend or we still got more to worry about. Crude's having a great day. Turned around on some inventory numbers, got into the 87 handle. Now you hit 92.43. Just shy of yesterday's high. Let's call it 92.50 a big level, because 92.65 was yesterday's high. Gold, what is going to be the third close here over 1,800? Who would have thought it a little over a week ago? Traded down 730 at 1805. Silver going the opposite way. That's up about 4 pennies at 20.52. Bitcoin trying to clear that 24K hurdle, up 600 at 23,660. And Ethereum doing much better on a percentage basis. That's up 8%, $137 at 18.28.
Well, where do we get started today? There's so much to cover in this time. And I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to usually stick to what I like to do, which is stick to what was relatively strong on the day. A lot of this came, of course, with the swing back in tech, right? We were looking to see if the swing would come back into some of the names, of course, that got beaten down. NVIDIA, Micron. You could see, did MU feel it? I was watching it. There it is. filling up the gap there, just coming right towards it, towards the 3 o'clock hour there,
Is
around
it?
240. That
Yep.
looks like a fill for me there. Not a
Yeah.
bad little fill there. Even warning, the second warning even fills back. That's why I was talking about it this morning. It's not that I thought that this was going to be the biggest trade of the day, but if this came back, oh, I had a feeling you'd see all technology just ripping, rallying back there. So technology had a really good day in solar also, software applications. And then further down, you still get semiconductors, but the whole sector was green. And from the open, solar really took lead there. Did you see the move in array today? Look at that.
ARRY, you've been talking about that one. That's a lower price one. Wow, finally woke up here. Gap and go on that one. For this, I mean, the way these other things have been running, you got this is a weekly here. I'll change this to a monthly, but on your weeklies, whew, man, 27.50. Why the heck not? The way some of these other issues ran. Going back up to the Micron. Now we did talk about that near the end of the show, and we're like, well,
Mm-hmm.
is Micron going to pull Walmart? And what
Yeah.
I mentioned the high from yesterday, 60.54. If you could clear that, why the heck not? That was only a 50-cent gap fill to 60.98. So boom, the street shrugging off the Micron and the buy everything market. Nvidia undercut the low yesterday. That's still trying to get into the gap. That didn't hit the level yet. That is my area of interest, 182.39, and then you got the gap up to 86.66. So you have. I just think you have a really friendly street for some reason. They were friendly during the Q2 earnings, especially with Microsoft and Google. They're extremely friendly to Walmart on its earnings warning and then cutting staff, and they're being friendly again. So just the sentiment, after being so poor and everyone in the gutter, it's turned, and it
Yeah.
turns, the sentiment's turned and to just like a buy everything market, good news or bad news. The other sector that we talked about with our guests this morning, kick started this morning, XLF, the financials, I guess they're uh,
Second place.
yeah, second place. So that's a good move in the XLF. Bank of America woke out of sleepies slumber for, look at that, 5, 10, 20-day consolidation. That broke out to the upside. JP Morgan was leading the way in the pre-market. So you got the gap and go in these. So, it's they're moving money around, and if you look at these, they're like a 50%. Just go to a 50% retracement in Bank of America here, and what 50 to I mean, for dare I say $40 on this one? That would get you back to the April. Let's see, April, May and June high. So yeah, I got to get rid of this weekly. I don't think in weeks, I think in months. So let me change this to the monthly. But there you go. A little bit of rotation into the financials.
Yeah, and it wasn't only the banks. If you wanted to take a quick look, you could see Blackstone, BX, asset management also doing really well. Whether you looked at Blackstone or you looked at BlackRock, or maybe you wanted to take a look at Brookfield Asset Management. Asset management actually led the industries in the financial services. So what does that show me? Probably the Bulls trying to catch on up there with these kind of plays out there. Remember, these are some that, were pretty much forgotten if it was going to be kind of the recessionary times, right? Is this what the banks are showing us, Joel, that we're probably not heading towards that recession? Is that the mentality here?
Soft landing.
Soft landings.
Yeah.
Someone put a pillow under this market because it's looking like we're going to get a soft landing here. We'll see what's going on. But
I said it was a possibility. Going back.
I know I didn't think so.
No, the eyeball test, man. People are their jobs. They're people they're working. That's the jobs number. I think the jobs number was a little inflated. You had all those those kids going to school, right? And or getting back from school, getting those summer jobs. I don't know how they incorporate that into the numbers. But everyone was worried about Q2 earnings season. Well, that wasn't bad. Everyone was worried about inflation. But once again, 8.5%. I didn't think that we would get, that kind of reaction. I thought that was more like an 8.1 or 8.2 kind of reaction.
Yeah,
But,
that's why I kept asking, what happens if we get in line? I don't think anybody would have told me, oh, we're in line, we're ripping, rallying. Well, there you see it. It's kind of hard to judge these numbers. And it also shows me more and more, because I think we all were expecting a really light number. And it shows us more that the numbers do lag, right? It takes a while to show up in the data. I think we're all going to be watching towards the next month also, because we actually get the next CPI right before we go into that next FOMC meeting. So we'll get another report.
What's the date on the SEP one?
I'm pretty sure. Let me check it on the extra.
Well, because you know what else we're gonna have? We're gonna have.
But I know it's usually the second week Wednesday.
We're gonna have another quad witch. We're gonna
have
a
quad witch coming into play.
Boy.
Oh, there's a lot.
Yep.
Don't quote me on it, but it should be the 14th. And so I'm going to go ahead and say that the meeting would be the 21st. And so we'd get it the week prior to the FOMC meeting. All right, let's take a look at the industrials too, because that's the third place sector. And what happened here, we could take a look at kind of the reopening trade that has been kind of really starting to push back. I know the trucking stocks led today, but I don't think too many people were probably trading trucking stocks. Now I see railroads up well today. UNP getting a nice lift there. I know too many people don't play railroads, but this gives us a little bit of a sign that industrials are getting a little bit strong here. So you could take a quick look at UNP, and then let's go into the airlines after this.
All right, I just wanted to mention, I just pulled up my calendar. What a fun week! Third week in September. The way the month falls, the quad witch is going to be on the 16th. So, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! Fasten your seatbelts. That's going to be one interesting. UNP maybe a little lower cost. Boom! This has had a nice run, continuing to run. Nothing's jumping out to me on this one except for 240. That was a pair of highs at the end of June. So if you're looking for another upside target in that, let's look at NSC, how that's traded to do. Same thing. That area, the next area of concern would be 265. I see no two highs in the same area except for that 265. We are one point off the high of the day, folks. 42.12. We're shaking. We're trying to get
that 420. 420, baby. It looks like it's going to be fun to watch that if it hits. It just tapped it in the intraday, and it just fell right off of that. I've already put a line there in the sand for me at 417. The bear is gone, guys. The bear is gone. As long as we don't get back below 417 from here on out, it's all green for me.
Oh no! Now, all right, wait, hold on. I gotta call my broker. So wait, hold on.
I miss it by a day, so you never know. But that's why I give a level too, right? And I think that's the important thing too there. I'm giving a level to go off of that I'm just going to use as my line in the sand now. For me on the SPY, and just kind of give a learning lesson here. We did get a question earlier. I wanted to address it a little bit later, but it's important to address it now. What's the difference between the spiders and the spoos?
Yes.
Joel, we did get that question in the chat.
Spider is just the cash, the cash ETF, right? It's it's not traded on a 24-hour basis. It's traded in the same after hours, right? It will trade to 8 p.m., closes from 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. While the spoos, they keep going. So the spider knows where to open at 4 a.m. They just follow the spoos. That's where I cut my teeth in the markets. It's a 24-hour market. That's what I like to follow. I made a Twitter handle way back in 2009. I made it spoos. I didn't know what to make it. We just made a new high at 1250, Mitch. The Bulls are not done yet here, at least in today's session. Ticked 13. So yep, there's a new high. The 417, we did have a line across for that. The 50% retracement that I have for this is 420.51. So textbook rebound. And back in the old days, I can remember getting a lot of good phase off that 50% retracement. But as of late, man, some of those moves, they've just ripped right through it. But we shall see as we head into the close. And I think that you know, the only thing is something, Matt, something overseas, like the right now is what could direct. We're through earnings season, right? We got through the number, the CPI number. We're gonna have. I don't think people pay as much attention to the PPI. So travel stocks, what do we go with? When you go to travel, American Airlines. Let's just rip through the airlines real quick. Up, I got a level for you here. If you're trading this American Airlines, 1542 was your high back on July 20th. Your high today, 1539. So X marks the spot, 1540 for you AAL traders for the rally to continue. Delta, let's just fill the gap at Delta and forget about it. That would be up to 35 even. That's another buck on there. Love, what do we got going on here? Love, that's got a gap to fill up to 40. That's not too far away.
I like the
Cruise lines.
JetBlue. I like the JetBlue.
You like Mitch always goes to those lower price stocks. He likes those. There's nothing wrong with that. Ooh,
To me, it's the setups that tell me where to go. The setup.
What about
there.
$9? Can we get
right
above
there.
9? Look at that. It's been sleepy 8 to 9, 8 to 9, 8 to 9. You have trading ranges. You have consolidations. Consolidating at the high of the move. Let's get above 9 in JetBlue.
Yeah. And then there's a little gap between 925 and 958.
I see that.
We'll see if we get up there, and we'll take a look. Let's go towards those different ones. The cruise line's having a hell of a day. Norwegian bouncing back today. They said, forget the earnings. We want to go on a cruise.
Nice text. This was wrote this one up yesterday. Bad news. But hey, what did you do in this one? This was really interesting. You went from basically 10 to 14, right? So that's a 4-point move. So if you want to buy it on a rebound, hey, why not look at this once again, going back to 50% retracement, 12. Well, they gave you a shot under 12 2 days ago, not today, 1186 low, right back up. X $14, man, 14 here before the earnings, just over 14 here. That's what I'm looking at NCLH. Royal Caribbean, sleepy, but still a level to prove itself. And right here, let's draw a line right here. Let's call it $43. The other one, CCL did clear 10. You got a couple highs in the same area, closer to 11 though for CCL.
One of probably the best outlooks. We didn't take the trade really, but we talked about it yesterday on At the Close. Joel wasn't here, but we took a look at the move in Pub M, and we were talking about, could this potentially just give us a little bit of insight of what's to come in the trade desk? And wow, what a move in the trade desk overnight and in the intraday. It is up intraday 35%. From yesterday's close to here, you're talking a good 36%. That's not a bad move.
Yeah, we talked about this one. Dennis thought maybe 70 would hold it. The only thing is, the thing that I look at these when I look at these things, when they get it going, is like, if what are they going to do? Was there buyers enough to take it through the pre-market high? Well, you know what? The pre-market high ended up being the low of the regular session. The pre-market high, 68.25. Your low right off the hop was 68.06. You know what I could see in this one? And I don't know what the short interest is, but I think you probably got some people headed for the hills on that one. Maybe there's some new longs coming in into it. Don't know what the short interest is, but that just looks like getting a call. Hey, you better cover your TDD or we're going to do it for you. And and when they come in and cover positions, I mean, They're not worried about the charge. They're just lifting offers. They don't want to, dipping into your bank. So that's what happened. PubM. If you're following the price action into the trade, you just got to be cognizant what PubM did today. Made a new high for the move, still up on the session, but surely a little bit of profit taking. Hit 42.13, 44.20, 420.14 in the spider, and maybe a little profit taking here in the last 10 minutes.
All right, we'll go to one more with the intraday move that caught my attention. Plug Power with a nice move, even though not the best earnings coming in this morning. They did reaffirm their guidance. Maybe that helped it, but it took off there right out the gates.
Boy, open. Let's see where the open. I mean, it gapped open right. Oh, boom, 26.34. Never gave you a gap fill. Low 25.99. Made quick work at 28. That was a pair of highs. Let's go to your monthlies and 32.05. I don't know. But that's your next monthly high. That was your April high for Plug Power.
Well, how does this all line up with the market and Disney reporting tonight? I'll give you guys the estimated EPS here at 100, estimated sales at 20.49 billion. Does this kind of help the earnings or does it hurt their chances today? What do you think, Joel? Does this help?
Oh man. I mean, you got the boat fully loaded here. People chasing into the report. So it's one of those things where if it's not a great report, you got everyone in this. I'm glad that this is what I've been cheering for. This is a stock, I know Triple D's been averaging down in, and the House of Mouse. Boy, oh boy, you got the spike up. There's nothing in here. Let's just keep it trading at the highs of the session too, right? High 112.67 at 112.28. What do you have? I mean, there's some congestion here at 115 if you get a good pop. Nothing specific. Well, this high, oh, that's above that high. It's just one, two, three out of five out of seven highs in that 115 area. So you just had a real patient seller in there, and that's before you came off pretty hard. So if you're taking it long in the report and then, you're looking for a lot, I'd say, 115. Man, if they don't like the report and, you'd love to see the thing if you missed the boat to get slammed. I'll just go with I don't know. We don't know what the high is yet. 90, 120. I don't know. Maybe if it comes back into 100, but sure doesn't feel like that's going to happen. Depending on how bad the report is. 350 for the 112 weekly. Holy mackerel! That means you got to break even there at 115.50, and that's just above the 115 resistance.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch that report. I want to see their subscriber numbers. Are they still growing in subscribers for Disney Plus? We'll have to take a look there, right? Keep your eyes out on that. It's going to be an interesting report. And who knows? Maybe I get to the earnings report and get it on here on Benzinga. Let's go ahead. Let's keep going and taking a look at some other stocks that are moving out there. There's a lot going on. There's so many stocks in the greens that we can talk about. If you took a look at basic materials, that was the fourth leading sector on the day, and up about 1.4% from the open. I did see aluminum getting a little bit of a bounce back. You can take a look at Alcoa. That's been coming back here from the bottom. These basic materials, even though they got washed out, and I would say aluminum, copper, steel, even coal was all a part that washout. They've been coming back here. The last 2 weeks, they're all usually up about 30%. Oh, you got the old mute button, Joel. The old mute button.
Go near there. How many times have we seen this type of formation? Where you made the low and you're sleepy and you're sleepy and you're sleepy, and then you break out of your sleepiness. So I think clearing this $50 is a big hurdle, a little sigh of relief that, once again, recession talk maybe tabled a little bit. off the good jobs number and not rampant inflation. So if we do get that soft landing, then construction. I still doing my eyeball test. Besides at these fast food restaurants, my eyeball test at construction. I mean, they're still building around here. They're still doing stuff here in Michigan. You know what? That makes me think. Let's take a look at the home builders. How are the home
Yeah, I've
builders
been
doing?
watching it. It cracked
Yeah.
for a little while, and then it's right back to the same kind of consolidation area. I don't know how the KHB there is. I was looking at ITB, but very similar.
Yeah, yeah. KB, that's KBH. I mean, these rates are steady. Oh, this KBH, boy, this 33 looks like a pesty area. You've been up
Hmm.
there 4 times. But how UWMC, how your mortgage company's doing? This had
How's
a
the rocket?
looked at the
Rocket's
right.
coming back. It's coming back.
Yeah, back over $10 here. 10.50 was last week's high. So a little puzzling here on a relative strength basis that it did not take out last week's high. But hey, we still got 2 days left, right? So keep an eye, you Rocket Mortgage traders, RKT, keep an eye on 10.50.
With the market going up, one thing that we've pointed at is the correlation of the Nasdaq and Bitcoin. Will this create a Bitcoin rally? That's what I'm throwing out there, and we can take a look at maybe some of the Bitcoin stocks that were going up today. Mara's been holding on. That Mara chart, it doesn't look weak at any means unless you look, to the left of July maybe. But if you look at the recent price action, it's holding trend, just push back through that 15.
Yeah, I mean these things they just don't trade like the Bitcoin does. I mean, this is up. It's having a decent day today, but overall, not a great performer. I can't give you much in here. Pretty good day. He backed off to 16.99. Looks like there's a little bit of congestion here, a little bit higher up. Let's call it 1760. So if you keep the move going, I think you need Bitcoin over 24, 24K, 25K. You might be seeing those levels for
I think it's so
tomorrow.
interesting to see that Bitcoin actually pops with the CPI. Like it popped with the CPI. Like I know that a lot of people like to say that they're not correlated with the markets. Something happened in this last recent wave that it did get correlated with the market. And I think a lot of that is probably, I would say, bigger money, institutional money coming into Bitcoin. But it's interesting to watch that they're so closely correlated now. It did get up there towards a high, I think 24,167, a little bit above that, pulling back here towards the close. But what a pop there off the 830 number there. All right, we're getting towards the close here. How's the end here? We're gonna get to the 420. We're gonna hold it.
It's close. 420.14. That's your current high.
They like to play with us on that number.
Traded 1972. So if there is kind of profit taking in the market, it's mild at that. Let's go back to the Spoos, as we call them, getting that first close over 4,200 since May 31st, right back in this area. Consolidation. Here you had the same kind of almost in the same area, Mitch. I know you were mentioning the 7 and 8 day consolidation here.
Yeah.
Was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So hey, it's resolved to the upside here. Coming up on the 50% retracement, we can easily see that tomorrow. I'll have the exact figure for you tomorrow, what it is. But the bulls run rampant today. That's really the only way you could put it.
I agree with that. The bulls running rampant, and like I said, as long as we don't cut 417 from here on out, I just got to keep the bullish shoes on. One of the biggest things and most important thing of being a trader, especially if you're kind of into the intraday action and seeing the market, is being flexible, right? I talked about this today. A lot of people were trying to tell me, well, why aren't you just shorting this market right now today? Well, a lot of that is just the insight that one of the things that we must do as traders is not get stuck in our bias, right? There's one thing thinking about where the market should go, but I always like to play both scenarios out. The low side, if we're coming down here, what are the levels? The high side, if we're going to rip on out, what are the levels there? I wanted to see it get above the consolidation range. And if we did get above that consolidation range, there's no point in me looking towards the downside because it's pressuring what? It's pressuring the bears here. The bulls are, putting on their happy shoes on and probably hitting the buy some more. The bears were the ones that were getting pressured. So like I talked about on live trading, one thing we don't want to do is fight the tape. I think today was a bullish tape. I think Joel would kind of agree with that. And I didn't want to fight that bullish move towards the upside. I was playing upside today, and I'm going to keep playing upside as long as we can keep holding on to some of this rally. It looks like we got some legs today. Let's see if those legs get chopped off tomorrow. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow on Pre-Market Prep. And of course, we'll keep watch of that PMI number, and we'll see if this kind of changes. Disney coming. We'll see what happens. See you guys tomorrow.